Let's take the next step carefully. We've seen why old behaviors return under pressure. Now we need to understand something more precise.
It's not just that pressure brings habits back, but that overload reduces access to choice itself. People don't lose intelligence under stress. They lose bandwidth. This is the space your nervous system needs to pause, consider, and choose. When that space fills up quickly, your choices and decision capacity also narrows. And once you see that difference, a lot of self-criticism stops making sense. By the way, there's a question and answer section, so be sure to watch to the end. You've probably felt this. When things pile up, decisions, demands, emotions, noise, your world starts to feel smaller. You become more reactive, short-tempered, less patient, and less flexible. It's not that you don't know better options, it's that you can't reach them. That's an important distinction. Here's the core principle. Human awareness is limited. We like to imagine that with enough effort, we can stay clear-minded, but our nervous system doesn't work that way. When demands exceed capacity, awareness narrows, and so does our ability to choose. In our minds, there's only one thing to do: protect ourselves. When your nervous system is overloaded, its one job is to keep functioning. It does that by simplifying your decisions, reducing most of your options, and defaulting to what's familiar. This isn't a dysfunction, it's triage. Your mind is asking, what will work fast enough right now? That's how overload reshapes behavior. In the midst of it all, it's easy to misinterpret what's happening. You might think you've lost what it takes. Trust me, you haven't lost anything. You've only temporarily lost access, and that can be regained. The entire system is prioritizing survival over flexibility. For now, just know that your mental and emotional capacity is exceeded. Overload feels personal because it affects how we show up. You might say things you wouldn't normally say or feel less patient. What's actually happening is simpler. Your internal mental workspace is crowded. Without the ability to pause and access your awareness, true choices can't emerge. But here's where hope comes in. Your choices don't return through motivation, but through relief. Reducing your overload, even slightly, widens your awareness. That might mean fewer negative inputs, slower pacing, clearer boundaries, or more rest. Remember, what you need is more space. This really matters. A narrowed system isn't broken. It's only responding the best way it knows now. Feeling overloaded is a signal, not a verdict. When conditions improve, your capacity returns, and with it, choice. Understanding this changes how you treat yourself when things feel overbearing. Don't try to fix anything at this time. Spend some time noticing moments when you felt that your choices were really limited. Notice what's present or going on then. Are there too many demands? Are you feeling emotionally strained or lacking rest? Those moments will tell you exactly what you really need more of. Curiosity first and restoration after. Let's connect the dots. Patterns repeat because they're learned. Attention amplifies what it stays with. Safety determines flexibility. Pressure brings automation online, and overload shrinks access to choice. None of this is a character flaw. It's how human systems conserve energy under demand. When you make space, choice returns, not through force, but through establishing capacity. Here's the Q&A as promised. Why does overload actually reduce my ability to choose? Because choice requires breathing space and calculative thinking. When your nervous system is overloaded, it stops evaluating options and conserves energy. The brain narrows focus to what feels immediate, urgent, or threatening, activating your protective mechanisms. Why does clear thinking disappear when things pile up? Because clarity is a higher function. It's the first thing to go when life's demands exceed your mental and emotional capacity. Your mind isn't damaged or broken. It's busy trying to keep you upright, sane, and balanced. Where does our awareness start to break down under pressure? Right at the point where attention gets pulled in too many directions at once. Awareness fragments. You're still conscious, but you're no longer observing the facts. You're now only reacting. Why does the mind switch to survival mode when overloaded? Because survival mode is efficient. It cuts nuance, slows reflection, and prioritizes action. It's not meant for strategy, but about getting you through it. Why does being overwhelmed feel like you're losing control of yourself? Because your usual sense of agency depends on having a range of choices. When those choices narrow, it feels like you are shrinking, even though something else is. Why does overwhelm feel so personal, even when it isn't? Because it shows up inside you. The system doesn't label overload as situational. It registers it as internal pressure. So you assume something is wrong with you, causing a cascade of other responses. How does reducing your mental load give you your choices back? Once the pressure lessens, your attention is able to spread out again. You start seeing options you couldn't see before. Your decision-making ability returns not by forcing it, but by regaining connection to safety and comfort. Why does narrow focus not mean something is wrong with you? Because narrow focus is what a healthy system does when stretched thinly. It's a sign of you trying to adapt to what's going on around you. Your system hasn't failed you. How can you tell when your capacity has been exceeded? When even the little things feel too much to handle? When your decisions feel exhausting? When you want to escape or get away from it all, much more than accomplishing anything? Those are signals trying to warn you ahead of time. How does creating space restore flexibility and clarity? Space lets the system breathe. With fewer demands, the mind can reorient, reassess, and respond instead of react. Flexibility isn't learned, it's uncovered. We've come to the end of this video. If you haven't already, go ahead, subscribe, like, or share. Your support is really appreciated.
If you watched this video, perhaps you'll watch this.